Hello everyone, so we're back again for another video, recorder video. Now, today we're going to be talking about Ode to Joy, Part 2. Now, Part 2 is a harmony part. It is not the melody that everyone knows. So, when you are playing Part 2, you have to remember that you're not as important as the melody. Now, let me explain what's happening. In this piece, we're going to have 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders performing together. The piece is performed 3 times. The first time we go through the song will be everyone, 5th grade, 4th grade, and 3rd grade, all of us playing part 1. Some of the choir students, our choir students, will be playing the xylophones here. Now, the second time we go through, the 4th grade and 5th grade will be playing part 2. The third time we go through the song is even more interesting because 4th grade will continue to play part 2, and 5th grade will break off and play part 3, which is in our next video. So we will have 3 different parts being played at the same time. 3rd grade will continue to play part 1 3 times. 4th grade plays it 1 time, then they go to part 2, and then they do it again. And 5th grade has to learn part 1, then part 2, then play part 3. Let's look at part 2. Now, part 2 is difficult because it has some very interesting notes. One of the notes that you're going to need to learn is low D sharp, which is the same as low E flat, because D sharp and E flat are the same. Is that correct? Also, we're going to need to learn low F sharp and G flat. Now, how do I know that? Because on the back, on the fingering cheat sheet, I don't know if you can see this, but you see that I added 2 new notes, D sharp, and I also added F sharp. D sharp and F sharp, which are the same as E flat and G flat. I'm just going to call them sharps, okay? Now, don't call them hashtags, and don't call them tic-tac-toes. In music, we call them sharps, and flats, okay? I'm watching you guys. No hashtags. Okay. So, that also on the back of this paper, I have the cloud at the top, and it says the 2 new notes. I don't know if you can see this. Okay? Very good. Now, let's look at this part. Line 1 does not start on B like the melody. Line 1 starts on G. And then, it's very, very easy because it's G, G, I don't know if you can see this, G, G, A, B, B, A, G, F sharp. There's our first strange note, F sharp right there. G, 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 dot, F sharp, F sharp. Second line, it's the same as the first line except for the ending, right? So let's go to measure 7. This is the same. 5 and 6 are the same as 1 and 2. So we're not going to talk about those. We're talking about 7 and 8. D, D, high D, D. High D, D because it has H, and low because it has L. High D, G, G. Now let's look at line 3. D, low D, 2 of them. High, then low. That means we're jumping that octave. 8 notes. D, 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 D. Now, watch this measure, 11 and 12. Very strange. D, D, D sharp, half note. See the half note? E, E, F sharp, half note. Then, line 4, which is just like, almost like line 2. Okay, so when we learn line 2, we're kind of learning line 4. That makes it easy for you to understand, hopefully. Okay, I'm going to play line 3. I'm going to play line 3 for you because that's the most difficult line. And then I probably will play line 1 as well because these are the ones that have the sharps and flats. Okay, E flat and D sharp, same note. And F sharp and G flat, same note. Okay, let me play line 3 for you, where we have to jump those 8 notes up. So we start with low D, which is 1, 2, 3. Our thumb is still there, okay? Our thumb is not affected. 1, 2, 3. And let's talk about this jump. So very quickly, you have to do this lots of fingers down to only 1. And then back down to all the fingers. Let's practice that again. Can you try that with me? 1, 2, do it with me. Try it again. So when you play this low, low D with 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, very soft blowing. Otherwise it'll squeak really fast. It'll really squeak. Let's do it again. 1, 2, ready, go. Don't try to play loud. Lots of people will be playing with you. So don't try to play loud. Don't try to overpower. It's a very soft instrument. Remember, this instrument, over 700 years old, this instrument was created during a time when everything was much quieter. No electric heating units like you hear in the background, or airplanes in the sky, or trains, or air conditioning units, or anything like that. Televisions, radios, things, lots of other noises. This is a very quiet time, so we're playing quietly. It teaches us to be quiet. Let's try it again. 1, 2, ready, go. Now let me play the line. All of line 3. You can look at your paper or you can look at me. It's okay. Line 3. Now, let's look at that D sharp. D, D. Now watch my third finger down here. Watch my third finger. D, D, D sharp. You see how I slide my third finger over? But my other 2 fingers have to stay there, guys. My other 2 fingers are like cemented in those holes. These 2 fingers are cemented. But this third finger slides over for D sharp. E, E, F sharp. The D sharp and the F sharp are half notes. Again, let me play the line. Watch my fingers, okay? Okay? Now, let's go to line 1. Line 1. Let's look at it. Starts with G, right? G, G, A, B, B, A, G, F sharp, G, 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 F sharp, F sharp. I'll play that for you, okay? Line 1. 1, 2, very slow. Now, let me play the whole thing. I'll turn the music on so you can hear the music in the background, and then I'll play it for you. This is part 2. Remember, it starts with G. practice. Thank you for watching. Ode to Joy, Part 2.